All right, guys, gals, and everything in between, the second to last season of The Strain has wrapped. I can't believe it. I honestly can't believe it. I'm. I mean, it's just crazy to me that we've been on this journey, and it's hit here. We've hit a fulcrum here. I have literally teased slash talked about the moment we have built up to now for like 3 years, and it's just an unreal experience to me. I'm very humbled, so I want to thank you guys for following me along on that journey. Now, let's talk about some Strain. Of course, if you guys are new to this, of course, major spoilers. This is the season finale. Normally, I don't warn you guys, but this is the season finale. So, warning. So, three, two, one, spoilers. And Zach is one of the worst children in television history ever. Getting to more in order, last episode was really Gus's finale, as we've now seen, because his story is kind of separate from the rest of the crew. But now we get our main crew playing in, and Satrakian and Eldridge Palmer are meeting, and it's like, all right, we riddled him full of silver bullets. Literally, Icorst is just out of the picture. He's gone. We blasted him with the cool shotgun move from last time that everybody loved and everybody I know who watches The Strain talked about. It was just like, you see the shotgun? That was so cool. So now he's like, all right, are you sure? And this is a really dangerous idea. You're risking a lot of everything. And then Eldridge Palmer says, we're all risking something here. This is the end of the road for both of us, and we both know it. And I'm just like, oh man, we're feeling the finiteness. Like, this is really it, people. And so they're getting ready for their plan, and we have to have our bro moment where they're sitting there, and he's like, all right, I'm here to help with F. And Fett, of course, is turning. He's like, no, we can't trust you, we're not gonna have you here. And Strain's like, enough, we need to win, and we're gonna do this together because we work together. And inspirational team speech, we did this. And thinking like, all right, we gotta get the classic A team back, because F, Satrakian, Fett, Dutch, all of them work together in that first time to fight the Master. We need him there because F, he's just as much of the team as much as he really hasn't been lately. We gotta get him back, and we did. So now they're working together, whether it be reluctantly. They have some relationship banter, and you can kind of see that Dutch and Fett might still have a thing where they're talking. It's like, you're such a selfish jerk. And Quinlan's there now, and Quinlan, always welcome to the team. As they're saying their plan, which is a pretty shaky plan. I mean, yeah, the Lumen said to do it, but let's just throw him in a box and call it good. Automatically, it's kind of some risk, but as Eldridge Palmer's getting back, he's like, all right, we've got to prepare for them to be here. Bam, 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 bam. Firefight breaks out. We're getting ambushed, y'all. And that was so awesome. That firefight scene where you don't expect it. Because as someone who's read the books, I have to honestly say that right around now, well, I mean, season 2, I realized it, but right around now, I was like, we are really not going to follow the books. This is exciting. I'm curious to see where we go with this. And this firefight scene, of course, is intense. Eldridge Palmer has his part to play because all of his security dudes get wiped out, and we have that amazingly grotesque and disgusting and sexy scene. Because we have Kelly Goodweather talking to Zach about how turning somebody is such a beautiful process. Yeah, no. Of course, Eldritch gets vomited all up in by the Master. And it's like, it's your turn now. Here's basically my red worm in this pile of dirt, and just straight up Godzilla 2014 in the mouth. And so now Eldritch Palmer is the Master. If my Strain friends are talking with my Doctor Who friends, it's kind of a weird, awkward intermingle when they're both referencing the Master at once. They are very different Masters. Yeah, as we're getting into the building, they're doing their plan, they're enacting their plan, they're walking around. We see, for some reason, Eichhorst is now okay to be on a ferry because he got the white that healed him. That's one of the things that this episode I wasn't too keen on, honestly, is that they really threw the consistent. I mean, they have done a really good job at keeping track of all of these consistencies of the rules with the vampires in this. And this episode, they kind of just threw it out the window. It's just like, yeah, he's out in the middle of daylight, but he's got a fedora on, so we'll just call it good. I wasn't a fan of that. But in the end, I guess they had to find time to do it right. I honestly can't tell you for the life of me why they had to have some stuff in the daytime with that when they clearly wouldn't be out in the daytime and they've been able to do all this other stuff at night. So I don't even know. But it makes sense why our heroes are moving in the daytime. But again, like we see them literally just chilling outside for a while and I'm like they can't do that. That is your strain rules you put in place. I hate criticizing the strain with some of that stuff, but I gotta do it every now and then, guys, because I am a reviewer. I am fair. As we continue on our merry adventures, we have the Die Hard moment. Yes, the Die Hard moment, which every filmmaker knows is the Die Hard moment, which is where the bad guy is talking to the good guy, and they both technically don't know that they're each the bad guy, good guy kind of thing, although the bad guy knows, so you have that tension of like, oh man, it's that scene in like the ways with Hans Gruber and John McClane. Like, it was that scene where he's like, oh, you're here. Well, good. And all of a sudden, they notice something's not right, and the tension is building, because the reason why they do the Die Hard strategy is because it works. And every movie after Die Hard's like, we gotta have the Die Hard scene. This one is no exception. We do the Die Hard scene. So as they're moving with, I have to say also, Eldridge Palmer as the Master looks so cool. I don't know, he just, maybe it's because he's had the tuck the entire time. He just has that look of evil. And I like it. I really like it because Bolivar has been the Master and has done a very, very good job. Like, he was a great Master. And he was like how I pictured the Master in the books when I first read them. But now I see this new Master and I'm like, oh, he's cool. Where he's got this kind of, like, he's really evil. And I don't know how to explain it. He looks evil and it really just works for me. So as they're talking, you see the tension building. Satrakian starts to realize it as he's like, wait a minute, it's the sun. It all falls down to Zach. How do you know about my son? He's like, F, get back! And he starts slashing, and then boom, 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 cool fight. Satrakian's getting knocked down, F's fighting, and round 2 this time for him, or I guess technically like round 3. It's not going very well. Boom, they're fighting, and of course, Quinlan realizes, Fett and them all realize, and they start running up there and fighting, trying to get him, and losing badly. Master's throwing down with him perfectly, and then all of a sudden it's like, come on, Dutch, turn on the machine. Machine, our team is working together, and I like, it was very, very casual, but if you guys notice, our team, once they started to gel and work on the same level as a team again, like they did in season 1, they started to win because teamwork is very essential in the strain. They're at their worst when they're all by themselves because they all have weaknesses, but every character and their archetype balances out another, and that's one really great thing about the strain is it really teaches you that you got to work together because yeah, there's the guy who's the smartest guy in the room, but he's not necessarily the smartest guy for the situation, and then there's the guy who's like the most understanding of the situation. It's an amazing balance, and once you see them start to mesh and you know the scene, it's where all of a sudden like Fett comes into the room and smacks down, and it's all of them, and they do like a shot where they're all looking around and you see Fett and he's there, and F, and then Satrakian, and then you just see them all there, and you see the Master start to panic because he realizes our team is in the room, and that right there is when they said teamwork wins, and that was the real just powerhouse moment of the episode that you know that things can work when you work together. And that was epic. And then Quinlan just shows up and gives this look of hatred because he knows it's the master. And they throw down, and it's brutal. They are just punching each other. Master's struggling because the machine's on and they're starting to win. And then Quinlan's like, no, this fight's just mine. Bam, bam, bam. And he's just ripping him back, and then finally just picks him up and WWE's him into the coffin, and they shut it. And they realize they've won for now. F is wounded. He's got a cut to the gut. And it's like, okay, no. And Dutch goes with Fett. And that's kind of our realization that maybe this was just a fling with F. I have an idea of where it could go, but I'm pretty sure I know where that's going to go. I'm pretty sure that Dutch is going to end up with Fett. Satrakian and them are all going down the elevator. But now we get the interesting reaction of seeing everybody, like Eichhorst in the car, in the daylight. We get, which I guess he's got tinted windows, so I guess it's okay. But they realize that the master is not broadcasting anymore. Kelly starts to go feral, and Zach runs upstairs, and Eichhorst is like, "Are you serious? Like, let's get moving right now." And they're on their way up, and then Zach and Kelly enter the room with F, who's been patching himself up, and he realizes Zach. And then all of a sudden the mom charges. We got Kelly, and Zach's just screaming in the background, being Zach. And then F and her start fighting, and it is just straight up like the most like brutal, visceral. F is having to face his demons. Boom, close call, and you're just looking at Zach as he's standing there. He doesn't know what to do. And if some people were not paying attention as much, they wouldn't have noticed that Zach has something in his hands. And so they're fighting, and then I thought it was an amazing exchange combat-wise. You're just seeing them like trade punches, and Zach screaming, and it's like you're starting to feel the weight of their fight, and it's like this is culminated. They're punching back and forth, and he's got the knife, and all of a sudden she starts to scream, and he just straight up just like throat punches her, but he's got the knife, and boom, she's dead as it's like mid her mouth. F was about to just get face huggered. It was brutal. And then all of a sudden Zach is just screaming. He's like, "Mom, no." And you're just like, let her die. She's a vampire. He's a human. You fucking stupid kid. And then she goes down, and he's just like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened, kind of thing, And then Zach's just looking pissed. And our crew wheeling it. I love the tension because you don't know what's happening, because you're like, this is all working out a little too well for our crew when we know we have another season. Well, it could all just be cleanup for the next season, right? Nope. All of it has to hit the fan. And this scene is so tense because you're like, no. And F's making your face where he's like, no. And then your brain is like, no. And you just see Zach holding up, and he's like, Dad. And he's like, Zach, do you know what you have there? And you're just like, no, don't. And he's like, yes, I do. Nuked. Godzilla status, nuked. Statue of Liberty, Staten Island, gone. Nuke. All of a sudden, as they're like, well, this worked out nicely. Oh, God. They found the kid, didn't they? And it's like, nuke goes off. Everybody is like, get to cover. And everyone is hiding. The coffin goes flying. Quinlan goes flying. F just looks outside and is like, what has my kid done? How can I justify this? And boom, nuke goes off in New York. And we all realize the perfect reveal of everyone is screwed is when they look up after that initial explosion, which was filmed wonderfully for a TV show. And they look up and they see the occultation, which is what they had predicted could happen. They're like, nah, nonsense. We got years before that. Nope, they didn't anticipate that they have the most useless child character ever in this show. Zach, I understand why they recast him, because the Zach that they had was such a great character that they recast him with a dick bag so they could make the most useless character ever. Our team is like, we gotta retreat underground or else we're gonna be hit with the fallout. So they're running to get underground. Everyone loses. We don't know where Gus is. We don't know. Our team is going underground. F is like, I can't find him. Zach goes with Eichhorst off. And so the master is free. And Quinlan is just like, dear God, what has happened? We have officially hit the Strigoi are pluming up because the nuke is blocking out the sun. Now the Strigoi can roam. Everyone has fallen, which is why this episode's called The Fall. I do think it's interesting that, you know, the way they end the season, we're going underground. I think it is really interesting that they change the fates of most of the characters, because the event of the fall in the book was really a kind of pivotal moment for the characters, that they really had to reach their full stride to hit that final push. And a lot of characters' fates are changed, and I'm really curious to see as to why. But it keeps me predicting, because now I don't know what's going to happen, who's going to live, who's going to die. It's a very, very interesting idea of how radically they changed it, because seriously, they radically changed it. And so I'm really curious to see. Ultimately, a positive reaction to this finale. I don't think it was the best finale the Strains had. I think that it was a step up from season 2's finale. I definitely thought this was a stronger season overall than season 2. Zach, oh my God. But I love that they've understood when they want to hit that tension perfectly, they do. It's really strong in the show. I cannot wait to see what they do with the final season. That is so crazy for me to say. Final season of The Strain. All right, guys, gals, and everything in between. Thank you so much for watching my videos. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. As you guys know, I have movie reviews and other TV show reviews that are coming, but The Strain is really my bread and butter. So I'm just so happy that, another season down. This is crazy. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Got plenty more videos coming to you. Love you guys.